Good day, class. For today, we'll be discussing one of the important elements of working drawing, specifically with house planning. There's a saying that a good craftsman never letter without guidelines. That means lettering plays a very important role, especially in creating house planning. Not just house planning, but also in some part of working drawings, such as floor plans, we have foundation plan, and other types of working drawing. So today, I will be discussing to you first the origin and development of letters, the different styles of letters, and the different techniques and approaches on how to create letters.
So today, we'll be discussing all about lettering. So lettering, tulad na sinabi ko dati, plays a very important role when it comes to work and drawing. So ito yung mga nagbibigay ng specification, information regarding the technical drawings. So before we discuss the techniques on how to create lettering, let us first discuss the origin and development of letters. So i-discuss natin kung saan nagsimula ang mga letters, no? Yung tinatawag natin na origin and the development of letters. So just like the human beings, letters also undergo series of evolution. Okay? So for this origin and development, let us try to have a what we call comparison of letter A. Ano ba yung itsura ng letter A during the previous era? Okay? Let us start with the ancient Egypt. Okay? So in the ancient Egypt, they have this letter A, no? Yung tinatawag natin na ox na animal na ginagamit nila, no? It is a domesticated animal in which ginagamit nila ito sa kanilang pagkikipagkalakal, no? Bibit ng mga gamit, yan, mga produkto. This is their letter A. Okay? This form of writing is what we call the hieroglyphics. Okay? So they are making use of pictures, no? For their letters. Okay? So this is their letter A during the ancient Egypt. Next. For our next, so after the ancient Egypt, it was the ancient Phoenician. Okay? Their letter A looks like this. Yan. So parang siyang binaliktad na letter A, no? And then normally this is shaded dyan. Okay? This form of writing of the ancient Phoenician is what we call the bosteropedon. Okay? So kung makikita natin, no? Yung ox natin, parang nilagyan na ng letter A. Binaliktad lang nila. Ito yung sungay, no? Ito yung tenga. Yun nga lang, it is in form of what we call wedge-shaped like letters. Okay? So this is the letter A of the ancient Phoenician. So after the ancient Phoenician, the next, we have the ancient Greek. Ancient Greek, their letter A looks like this. So kung makikita natin, no? Habang tumatagal, nagmumukha na itong letter A na alam natin ngayon. Okay? This form of writing is what we call the cuneiform. In a form of what we call symbol. Okay? Next. So after the ancient Greek, okay, so it was the ancient Roman who were the last to modify the letter. Okay? Ancient Roman letter A looks like this. Yan. So halos kamukha na to ng letter A natin ngayon, no? Yan. So this is what we call the old Roman letter. Nowadays we have the modern Roman letters. Ito na yung familiar sa atin, no? Yung modern Roman letter A. Yan. Okay, so this is the old, and then this is the modern Roman letter. Okay, so makikita natin yung transition, no, between from this appearance and then ito. Okay, of course, no, after the ancient Roman, nagkaroon ng mga modification yan. Normally makikita natin yan sa examples sa mga Microsoft Word and other software. Okay, let us now discuss on what is the different part of the ancient Roman letter A. Okay, lakihin natin yung letter, no? A modern Roman letter, usually nakikita natin to sa mga dyaryo, sa mga magazines. Yan. Okay, so let us try to discuss the parts of a modern Roman letter A. Okay, so the first part, itinatawag natin, this is what we call the thick stem. X, ito naman yung tinatawag natin, no? Ito yung pabilog na to, ito yung curved shape dito, this is what we call the fillet. Okay, and then the line here which connects the fillet towards the thick stem, and then this one is what we call the serif. Okay, and then ito namang manipis na line nya is what we call the thin stem, or also known as the hairline. Okay, so that's it for our origin and development of letters. For the next topic, we will discuss naman the guidelines in lettering. Right, so for guidelines in lettering, tulad nga nasabi ko sa inyo dati, that a good craftsman never letter without the guidelines. So it is very important for us to make use of the guidelines in lettering sa paggagawa ng mga letters. So for this topic, we will be discussing the 4 guidelines in lettering which is important in creating good letterings. Okay, so in creating guidelines in lettering, it is very important for you to use any straight edges, no? So in this case, I will be using a triangle. Okay, so what are the guidelines in lettering? Okay, discuss natin what are the different guidelines in lettering. Guidelines in lettering. So one of the importance of guidelines in lettering is it maintains the straightness of the letters. Okay, so assuming here, no, I will be creating guideline. So the first guideline in lettering, okay, diin natin ang konti para makita nyo. Okay, so the first guideline in lettering, normally ito yung pinakataas, is what we call the top line, or tinatawag din ito na cap line. Okay, so later we'll be discussing on what is the function of a top line or guideline. The next guideline in lettering, okay, so assuming I want this distance, okay, maglalagay tayo ng sukat, no? Okay, like for example, from top line to the second guideline, I will be measuring 1 centimeter. Okay, ito naman yung tinatawag natin na pangalawang guideline, or known as the waistline. Yan. Okay? The next guideline will be here. Okay? Ano ba yung tawag dyan? And then normally, ano po yung magandang distance? Normally class, for the next guideline, example, this is 1 centimeter. The time is 2 lang to. Okay? So if this is 1 centimeter, we'll be measuring here 2 centimeter for our next guideline. Yan. So normally we have 4 guidelines, no? For our third guideline, we called it as the baseline. Yan. Okay? Next, for our last guideline, the same as the distance from top line to waistline, it is also 1 centimeter. Okay? So measure 1 centimeter from the baseline and make use of an straight edges. Okay? So this last guideline is what we call the drop line. Okay? Okay, reminder lang, no, sa paggawa ng guidelines, see to it should be very light. Okay? So kung makikita natin sa example, kung medyo dark yung lines, it is because I want you to make it visible para makita nyo, no? But in actual, this should be very light. Okay? So let us now discuss the functions of each guideline. Okay? So the first guideline is what we call the top line. So saan ba ginagamit yung guideline, top line or cap line? Normally class, when we say top line, it is used to limit the height of uppercase letter and then the ascender of lowercase letter. Ano ba yung tinatawag natin na uppercase letter sa lettering? Ito rin yung tinatawag natin ng mga capital, no? Yung mga naka-uppercase lahat, naka-caps lock sa pag nag-type tayo sa Microsoft Word. Example of uppercase letter, okay, gagamit tayo letter A. Okay? So dito, makikita natin, one of the function of top line, yan, it maintains the height of the uppercase letter. And then, tulad na sinabi ko kanina, it maintains the height of the ascender of lowercase letter. When we say naman lower case letter, these are yung mga letters na mas maliit, no? Yung may mga example here, letter B. Letter B has what we call yan, ascending stroke. Ito yung tinatawag natin na ascender. Okay? Yan. Another guideline, yung waistline. Okay? So waistline maintains the height of the body or the oval of lowercase letters. So hanggang doon lang dapat siya, no? Yan ang function ng waistline. Another letter with tinatawag natin na lowercase letter, yan. Example, letter G. So letter G, hanggang doon lang yun, no? Yung mga lowercase letters. So ginagamit madalas yung lower waistline for lowercase letters. Okay? Next, we have the baseline. So it's very obvious kung saan ang baseline, no? Aside from it maintains the height of both lowercase and uppercase letter, it also maintains the straightness of letters. Okay? Kaya nga tinawag siyang base, no? Kasi dyan tumatayo. It is where the letter rests or stands. Okay? Last guideline, we have the drop line. So sa drop line naman, ginagamit ito to limit the height of the descender of lowercase letter. Example of letter with descending stroke is letter G. Okay? Ito naman yung tinatawag natin na descender. Okay? So, ganyan ang paggamit ng guidelines sa lettering. Okay, I will be giving you another example. Example here, no? And then I will be using another height. Example, 5 mm, of course. Okay, ano muna to, no? This is the top line and then waistline. The distance from top line to waistline is 5 mm. Of course, times 2 ko lang dito yan. For my baseline, yan. And then I will just replicate the size from top line to waistline. for me to get my drop line. Okay. Example, I want to letter here the word drafting. Of course, sa paggawa ng mga letters, I will be starting first with light lines. Okay. This is the proper way of lettering. Later, I will be discussing to you the techniques kung paano mag-letter ng tama. Okay? So dito, pinidiscuss muna natin are the guidelines muna. Okay? So makikita natin the word drafting has capital letter D, and then meron siyang letter F which has the ascending stroke, and then lowercase letter which has the descending stroke. So after that, I will now darken the letters. Yan. So napaka-importante ng guidelines, no? Yan. Then we have letter G. Okay? So that's it for guidelines in lettering. So for the next lesson, we'll be discussing the proportions of letters. Okay, so for proportions of letters, so meron tayong tatlo, na tinatawag na proportions of letters. From the term proportion, ano ba yung sabihin ng proportion? Ito yung paglalagay ng mga letters sa tamang space. Okay? So let us identify the three proportion of letter. The first one, we have the what we call the normal letters, and then the another one we have the compressed letters, and then we have the extended letters. Okay, let us first have the normal letters. Okay, so para saan ba ang normal letters? Normal letters is used if the given space is enough. Okay, so from the term normal, ginagamit natin to pag yung given space is normal also. So there will be no adjustment on the letters. Example, I will be having this space. Example, this is the given space for our normal letter. And then again, lettering tayo the word drafting here. So kung makikita natin, all caps to, By the way, sa guidelines, if your letters are all caps, okay lang na tatlo lang ang gagamitin, or tatlo lang ang gagamiting guidelines. Okay? So example, I will be lettering here normal letter, proportion of letter for the term drafting. So again, light lines muna. So the function of light lines, there will be still a room for you to what do you call this? To adjust the letter. Example, in this case, medyo may space pa ako dito. Mag-adjust ako mamaya yan. Okay? So makikita natin with the type of letter na ginamit natin, normal siya, Yan. Example, letter D. So still, this is what we call a normal letter. Hindi tayo nag-extend, hindi tayo nag-adjust, or pinaliit yung mga letters. Letter F. So nag-adjust ako ng konti para mas mag-fit siya. Then we have letter G. Okay. So this is an example of a normal letter, If the given space is enough for the words that you are going to letter. Okay. Next we have the compressed letter. From the word compressed, also known as the condensed letter. Okay. When you say compressed letter, the given space is very limited, Napaka-limited ng space. So, ang gagawin mo naman dito is for you to compress the letter. Okay? So, another example, the same letter, but the difference is mas maliit yung space na gagamitin natin ngayon. Okay, example, this is the given space. So, halos mas malinis na ng kalahati dun sa unang space natin, no? And then, the same guideline, top line, waistline, baseline. Okay, so kung ilalatan natin yung drafting dito, if we are going to use normal letter, no? It will be only be the letter D, R, A ang magkakasya dito. So what you're going to do now is to compress the letter, no? Kumbaga, tawag dito, no? Yung mga letter natin, papapayatan natin. Papayat siya. Yan. So in our first draft, kung makikita nyo, sakto naman siya. So there will be no need for you to adjust the letter. So what you're going to do is just to trace the first draft or the light line. Yan. So can you see the difference between normal letter and compressed letter? Okay. So sa D pa lang, no? Yan. So ito naman, no, sa compressed letter na sa sobrang liit ng space, ang ginawa natin is to kinompress natin yung letter. Okay? Let us now have the extended letter. So ito naman, yung extended letter, ginagamit naman ito if the given space is narrow. Rather, if the given space is wide, no? Or malaki yung space na gagamitin natin. Okay, so space, but this time, no, the same height lang, but this time mas malaki yung space na gagamitin. Example, no, you are asked to again letter the word drafting in this space. So as you can see, napakalawak ng space. So it will be using the normal letter here, kaya maraming sosobra, lalong-lalo naman sa compressed letter. So what you are going to do now is to extend the letter from the word extended. Okay? For letter D, R, A, F, T, I, N. Okay, so as you can see na medyo lumit yung D dito. What we are going to do now is to adjust. Adjust ako ng konti. Yan. Ito yung function kung bakit gusto natin na medyo mas light ng konti, no? So as we can adjust the proportions. Yan. Okay? The next one is to trace the letters. So, as you observe here, yung mga letters natin, no, biglang tumaba, no, o nag-extend sila for us to fit in to the available space which is too big, no. So, ginawa natin, pinalaki din yung mga letters natin, in-extend natin sila. Okay, so that is the reason, no, kung bakit natin in-extend yung letters. Okay, so these are the three proportions of letter. Again, we have the normal letter, compressed letter, extended letter. So bakit ba importante ang proportion of letter? Kasi class, pag nasa house planning na tayo, pag gagawa tayo ng mga plates sa ilalim, no? Yung pinaka-plate sa ilalim ng ating tracing paper or drawing paper. So there are times na napakahaba ng pangalan mo, no? And then the space is very limited. So what you are going to do is to, anong gagawin natin? To compress the letter. There are times naman na medyo napakaikli ng pangalan mo, napakalaki ng space. What you are going to do is to extend the letters of your name. And then, kung normal naman yan, wala tayong problema, is you'll be using the normal type of proportions of letter. Okay, so that's it for our proportions of letter. For our next lesson, we'll be discussing naman the different styles of letters. Okay, so for our styles of letters, we'll be starting with the first style of letter, which is what we call the Gothic letters. One of the characteristics of a Gothic letter is all of its stem are equal in terms of the thickness. Okay? So, we have different types of Gothic letters. No? May tayong tinatawag na, the first one, yung madalas natin ginagamit, is what we call the single stroke Gothic letter. Single stroke Gothic letter. And then, yung tinatawag natin na commercial Gothic letters. Okay? So let us have first the single stroke Gothic letter. Okay? So gagamit tayo ng guideline para may pagkita sa inyo anong itsura ng mga letters na to. So for the first one, again, we'll be using letter A as our sample. For our single stroke Gothic letter, from its term, single stroke Gothic letter, all of them are created in only one stroke. Isang stroke lang siya. So this one is an example of a single stroke Gothic letter. So gamit naman tayo ng lowercase niya. So this is also this one is uppercase single stroke Gothic letter, and then this one is what we call a lowercase single stroke Gothic letter. How about the commercial Gothic letter? Commercial Gothic letter, ang pagkakaiba naman niya is yung stem niya ay mas makapal compare sa single stroke Gothic letter. And then normally it is filled. Okay? So that's the difference between the single stroke Gothic letter and what we call commercial Gothic letter. But normally sa mga commercial Gothic letter, mas madalas na ginagamit to na uppercase lahat, no? Yan. Okay, so saan ba madalas ginagamit yung Gothic letter? Okay, of course, the different styles of letter, may kanya-kanyang gamit yan, no? Hindi naman pwede na gagamitin ito sa isang ganito na hindi siya akma. So may mga akmang letter para sa mga iba't ibang mga gawain. Example, for our Gothic letter, madalas na ginagamit to sa mga floor plans, no? Yan. Normally ginagamit na single stroke. Ano pa? From the terms commercial, sa mga signages, sa mga tarpaulins, kung may mga announcement ka, they are making use of commercial Gothic kasi mas readable siya, no? Mas madali siyang basahin. Okay, that is for Gothic letter. The next style of letter is what we call the text letters. Yan. So normally, sa paggamit ng mga text letter, ang ginagamit natin dito is what we call the speed ball pen. O yung tinatawag natin na calligraphy pen. Okay? Sa text letter, may tinatawag tayo na Old English text letter. No? So tignan natin ang itsura ng isang Old English text letter or text letter. We'll be using letter A, no? So dito, iba-iba yung size ng stem niya, no? That's why it's very important na gumamit tayo ng akmang pen, no? So dito ginamit ko lang, manual lang ginamit ko since I don't have yet the calligraphy pen. So pinapakita ko lang yung itsura ng isang Old English text letter. So marami siyang mga designs. Okay? Yan. Yan ang itsura ng isang Old English text letter. In some cases, may mga designs pa yan, no? May mga ano pa yan, mga ornaments. Okay? So, normally, saan pa madalas ginagamit to? Ano ba yung letter A niya? Okay, papakita ko na rin yung letter A. The appearance of a Old English text letter A looks like this. Yan. Okay? So, saan pa madalas na ginagamit ang isang text letter? So, madalas na ginagamit ito sa mga nakikita to sa mga diploma. Saan pa? Sa mga land titles. Okay? Dahil sa mga birth certificates. O sa mga tawag doon, sa mga napatay. Normally, ito yung nilalagay na text or letters sa mga pangalan ng mga mahal natin sa buhay, no? Yung text letter. Okay? Let us now proceed to the next style of letter. We have the script letter. Okay? For script letter, so normally, this type of letter is used for printing wedding invitations. Okay? Bakit ba? Huh? Aside from wedding invitations, sometimes sa mga sa mga certificates, ginagamit din to. Yan. This is an example of a script letter A. Yan. Okay? So alam na natin kung bakit, no? So makikita natin, medyo yung itsura ng letter na to is floral in nature, no? Medyo maganda siya for wedding invitations. Okay? Mga love letters, pwede nyo ilagay ng ganito. Okay? Yan. Next style of letter, we have the, so familiar na kayo dito, discuss na natin during the origin and development of letters. We have the Roman letter. Okay? Of course, for a Roman letter, as I have mentioned earlier, this type of letter is mostly seen sa ano ba? Sa mga dyaryo, magazines, sa mga libro, no? For Roman letter A, yan. Ito madalas na ginagamit sa mga books natin, mga textbook, no? Titignan nyo yung mga books natin because very readable siya, no? Maganda siyang tignan. Okay? Sa mga newspapers. Next style, yung tinatawag natin na italic letters. When we say italic, no? Italic is also synonymous to word incline. Ano ba yung sabihin ng incline, no? Pahiga siya, no? Pa-slant or slanting letters. Actually, when we say slanting letters or italic letters, yan. So again, I will be using guideline, no? Actually, no, all of these letters can be in italic form or slanting in form. Like for example, no, the single stroke Gothic letter can be in italic form, same as the lowercase letter. Ganun din sa mga tinatawag natin na commercial Gothic letter. Okay? Basta naka-incline siya, it is identified as italic letter. Okay? Ano ba yung mga letters na hindi pwedeng italize? Example, the text letter, no? Hindi siya pwedeng gawing italic, no? Ano yan? Hindi siya magandang tignan, no? Hindi siya magiging readable pag ginamit natin siya as italic letters. Of course, the script letter is already in italic form. Okay? We can also form in italic yung tinatawag natin na modern Roman letter. Okay. So normally, we are italicizing or italize a letter or a word if we want to stress out something, no? Gusto natin i-stress yung word na yon. Okay? So remember, no? It is only the text letter who can be in italic form. Okay? So these are the different styles of letters. So it will be your preference if what type of style of letter that you're going to use. So commonly gagamitin natin dito is what we call the single stroke Gothic letters, since we are making use of o gagawa tayo ng mga floor plans and other working drawings, okay, relating to technical drafting. Okay, so that's it for our styles of letters. For our next lesson, so we'll be having yung techniques ba, ano ba yung mga proper stroke, no? What are the proper stroke in creating letters using the single stroke Gothic letter? Of course, alam natin, no? Marunong tayong magsulat. Sir, what is the difference between lettering and writing? Napakalayo yung class, no? Example, magsusulat ako, no? Tulad ng ginawa ko dito. Yan. The word Allen. This is what we call writing. Okay? But, pag ang ginawa ko is like this. Ha? Yan. It will be called or identified as lettering. Since gumamit na ako ng technique eh. Okay? You have to remember, no? Not all good letterers are good writers. Ibig sabihin, hindi porke magaling ka mag-lettering, maganda rin yung sulat mo. Just like in my case, no? Or, not all good letterers are good writers. Vice versa naman yan, no? Kasi sa lettering, sundan mo lang yung proper technique, pag-aralan mo, you'll become a good letterer. Okay? So for our next, we'll be having this single stroke Gothic letters and the techniques and the right stroke, no, for each letter na gagamitin natin.
On the first page of our story, the future seems so bright. Then the same turned out so evil. Don't know why I'm still surprised. Even angels have their wicked schemes, and you take that to new extremes. But you'll always be my hero, even though you've lost your mind. Just gotta stand there and watch me burn. That's alright, 'cause I like the way it hurts. You just gotta stand there and hear me cry. That's alright, 'cause I love the way you lie. Love the way you lie. Love the way you lie. Now there's gravel in our voices, glasses shattered from the fight. In this tug of war, you always win, even when I'm right. 'Cause you feed me fables from your head, with violent words and empty threats. And it's if that all these battles are what keeps me satisfied. Just gotta stand there and watch me burn. That's alright, 'cause I like the way it hurts. Just gotta stand there and hear me cry. That's alright, 'cause I love the way you lie. Love the way you lie. Love the way you lie. So maybe I'm a masochist. I try to run, but I don't wanna ever leave till the walls are going up in smoke.